Good evening. Welcome to the 64th annual meeting of Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union. Due to the unprecedented circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, tonight's meeting is being delivered both online and in person. We have several members who have logged in and are watching from locations all over our community, and actually, I believe, even out of state tonight. And we have some members present here in our recently remodeled training lab at our corporate headquarters on Jones Road. In order to open our annual meeting, I need to confirm a quorum of members are present. Dr. Debbie Emery has served as our board secretary this year. However, she's unable to be with us tonight. In her absence, Chairman Brandman, can you confirm that we have a quorum of members present this evening?
Mr. Dickey, I can confirm we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And with a quorum present, I'd like to officially call to order this annual meeting of Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union. I would like to take a moment to introduce the members of our board of directors and our supervisor committee here this evening. Our board members include Mr. Chuck Brandman, board chair, Ms. Gail Parker, board vice chair, Dr. Debbie Emery, board secretary, Ms. Erwan Wilson, board treasurer, Mr. Tony Barcelona, Mr. Greg Axelrod, Dr. Linda Macias, Tony Martin, and Dina Morgan. I would also like to introduce the members of our supervisor committee, Mr. Gary Kinninger, our committee chairman, Ms. Tamika Ramsey, and Mr. John Price. In addition, I want to introduce the Creighton's executive leadership team, and to ensure you can put a face with the name tonight, the pictures of our executive team are on the screen. Valerie Prillman, Vice President of Human Resources and Compliance, Derek Schultz, Vice President of Information Technology, Sean Orthober, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development, Ting Singley, Vice President of Finance and Accounting, and Michelle Nichols, Vice President of Lending and Loss Prevention, Georgette Salazar, Vice President of Member Experience, who's also helping us with tonight's production. If you have any questions that are not answered during the annual meeting reports, we have a room full of knowledgeable people who can help get the information that you want. If you're online, you can submit a question through the meeting chat feature, and they will be addressed during the new business portion of tonight's agenda. At this time, I'm going to request the approval of last year's annual meeting minutes. A copy of the minutes was posted to our website and also available here in the meeting room. You can find them at cyfairfcu.org/meeting. In order to document the approval of the minutes this year, I'm going to request that the motion be made through the meeting chat feature or by one of our in-person attendees. You can simply type your first and last name in the chat box to make a motion or second, and a member of our Cy-Fair FCU team will then document those names for the minutes of this year's proceeding. If there are no additions or corrections to the minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved to approve.
Mr. Kinninger makes that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Barcelona makes a second. All in favor, please select in favor in the on-screen poll or say aye if you're meeting with us in person.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries and last year's minutes are approved. Before I move into the President's report, I want to thank each of you for taking the time out of your busy lives to be with us tonight and hear about this year's annual meeting. As member owners of Cy-Fair FCU, it's an honor to reflect with you on the challenges and successes of the past year, as well as sharing some items from the year ahead. We can't sugarcoat it. 2020 was a bitter year. Furrowed brows over the top of cloth face masks were only visual indicators of the struggles we were all facing. As a nation, we struggled to make ends meet. Many mourned the loss of loved ones. We faced financial hardships, forced separation, and months of isolation. And we've had to find workarounds for just about every daily task that used to represent business as usual. We always consider it a privilege to be a part of our members' stories, and this year, though, those stories were full of enormous consequences, all due to a tiny microscopic virus. Through it all, Cy-Fair FCU never lost hope and never lost faith in our commitment to our members. Even during the worst moments of the pandemic, members brought their money to us while economic storms raged. They relied on us to help them get through it. And with a growth of $51 million in assets during 2020, The credit union posted its largest annual deposit increase in Cy-Fair FCU history. We also produced a positive bottom line despite one of the most difficult years in our 64 years of business, with $226,000 in net income. While this is much lower than the record performance that we achieved in 2018 and 2019, it is a testament to the perseverance and adaptation during unprecedented circumstances. In an environment where clear answers weren't always available and there were some legitimate health risks for our employees, I am proud to say that we were adaptable, we provided assistance, we had reinvented systems and processes, and the bravery of our employees in serving our members was second to none. The credit union also saw a wave of loan delinquency resulting in higher loan losses in Q1 and Q2. However, the credit union made significant progress in bringing down loan losses and ended the year with delinquency at 0.21% and loan charge-offs at 0.87%, both well within industry norms for significantly better financial conditions. Consumer borrowing was substantially lower due to the pandemic. Loan growth was at a negative 5.36% as of December 31st, 2020, compared to 8.26% the prior year. The credit union's net worth ended the year at 7.83%, which is considered well capitalized by the National Credit Union Administration, or NCUA. As a licensed credit union, Cy-Fair FCU is federally insured by the NCUA, and members never need fear that their deposits are safe. Throughout the global pandemic, the question was never about the security of our members' accounts. It was about uninterrupted access to accounts and services. Cy-Fair FCU remained committed to taking the necessary precautions to keep members and staff safe. While it wasn't exactly business as usual, we were able to provide members with uninterrupted support throughout periods of quarantine and lockdown. When we couldn't open our lobbies to normal business traffic, we provided car-side service in front of the financial centers to let members know it's business as usual, even if it's in the parking lot. Throughout 2020, we made member wellness calls to our Cy-Fair FCU members and returned calls when call volumes were high in our contact center. It felt good to talk, to find ways to serve, and of course, to connect. To help with the increased call volume resulting from lockdowns, we borrowed employees from other departments to ramp up the number of member service representatives answering calls in our contact center. Digital banking isn't new. Cy-Fair FCU members are accustomed to accessing their money 24/7. But during 2020, we took extra steps to ensure everyone understood how to easily manage their finances online and where to get extra help when needed. These included additional customer service representatives, targeted marketing materials, and video chat enhanced functionality through our mobile app. Updated and continuous messaging became an essential part of our business and many others. When conditions required lobby closures, changes in hours, and alternative ways to get help, we messaged members at every touchpoint. Our website contained up-to-minute information regarding changes in legislation, services, and hours. Notifications were posted in our drive-thrus, our lobby doors, via social media, and through email communications. We provided helpful information regarding the pandemic, how to avoid scams, and persevere through challenging times. Video chat enhancements, like Cy-Fair FCU's interactive video banking app, made service as personable as possible throughout the pandemic, and enhanced alerts for online mobile banking kept members informed. Protecting our members and our staff became our highest priority. Cy-Fair FCU followed all CDC recommended reopening guidelines and precautions, including the use of plexiglass dividers, social distancing, frequent disinfection of high-touch areas, regular daily cleaning and professional deep cleaning, and controlled indoor environments with appointment setting, car-side service, and face masks. It was 8 years ago that the credit union announced its 10-year community-only better plan, which pledged over $500,000 and 1,000 hours annually of volunteer support for local nonprofits, education, and strengthening our neighborhoods. And what we now realize is that our investment is blossoming, and it's allowing our credit union to serve Harris and Waller counties in ways that we didn't imagine at the beginning, despite new challenges. As schools began to open at the start of the school year, we were determined more than ever to support local teachers and students. In 2020, Cy-Fair FCU supported 6 teachers with our Extreme Makeover Classroom Edition. This annual program took on powerful new dimensions with social distancing requirements, the addition of clear protective barriers in the classroom, and more challenges to creating an effective, comfortable learning environment for students. Initially, we sought 3 winners, but because we had so many creative entries by great teachers, we added 3 classroom makeover prizes. Our 2020 winners included $500 classroom makeovers for teachers Tyron Alfred at Cy Springs High School, Hector Veronica Gutierrez at Cook Middle School, and Lorena Carter at Holmesley Elementary. 3 $150 classroom makeovers, $150 classroom makeovers were also awarded to Cassandra Ravella at Cy Lakes High School, Richarda Outley at Campbell Middle School, and Liliana Orozco at Reed Elementary School. Also this past year, the credit union awarded $11,500 in college scholarships to 7 outstanding school seniors. These included the $3,500 Patty R. Miller full-year scholarship to Lone Star College that went to Catherine Tran, a student from Langham Creek High School, a $1,500 Cy-Fair FCU membership scholarship to Govind Chadha, a student at Cy Woods High School, 3 $1,500 community scholarships to Megan Trin at Cy Ridge High School, Ruby Zhao at Memorial Senior High School, and Chol Tang at Langham Creek High School. The credit union also awarded a special one-time scholarship to Taya Barker of Cy Creek High School in the amount of $500. Lastly, the credit union awarded its annual $1,500 bilingual Spanish scholarship to Andrew Cortez of Cy Creek High School. In 2021, we'll continue the work that we began with our 10-year vision. We'll not only support our members, our schools, and the Cypress Fairbanks community, but we continue to look for ways to champion financial inclusion near and far. And you'll hear more about this coming up in the chairman's report. I know we have a few other items on our agenda this evening, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention a few notable accomplishments from this past year. In 2020, the credit union won 2 Pinnacle Marketing Awards, beating out entries from credit unions all over Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas for our successful Copperfield grand opening events and our creative 2019 annual report design. The credit union launched a market-leading new checking account called Z Checking, and with a dividend rate of 1.25% APY and ATM fee refunds up to $15 a month, the product has turned a lot of heads, including our competitors, and is our fastest growing new product. The readers of Living Magazine voted Cy-Fair FCU as the 2020 Reader's Choice for Best Financial Institution in Cy-Fair. And the credit union signed 6 new key employer group agreements with the Langham Creek Family YMCA, with Wealth Management LLC, DW Electric, Harmony Schools of Discovery, Impact Hub Houston, and LED Construction and Design. In closing, because of you, our loyal members, and proactive decisions made by our board and management team starting in 2013, our organization was as ready for 2020 as possible, and the credit union continues to be strong and well capitalized. As the pandemic conditions improve, we will analyze the lessons we've learned throughout this challenging year to make up for lost time, continue to build community, and create a brighter, sweeter resilience together. On behalf of our executive team and our staff at Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union, thank you. It is a privilege to serve you and this community. And at this point, I will turn the microphone over to our chairman, Mr. Chuck Brandman, who will give the Board of Directors report.
Thank you, Cameron. Good evening. I'm pleased to be here with you to deliver this year's Board of Directors report. Let's start with 2020 and the global pandemic. Of course, what is there to say about 2020 that hasn't already been said? 2020 was full of uncertainty, disruption, risk to our health, businesses, and household incomes in loss. The year truly was a lemon of a year. But we also saw courage, sacrifice, adaptation, and reinvention, none more so by the courageous essential workers who risked their well-being to help others, to render medical aid, to teach, to provide access to groceries, and to respond to emergencies. I'm proud that the Cy-Fair FCU board, management, and staff of Cy-Fair FCU who have aspired to the same empathy, kindness, sincerity, innovation, service, and a focus on rebuilding. On behalf of the board and our members, I would like to thank our staff and management for their unwavering service to our credit union members and community during these most trying times. At Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union, we saw the same patterns we've recognized in our communities for years. Resilience didn't just happen. It became part of who we are. Since Cy-Fair's founding in 1956, we've weathered 6 hurricanes, 2 tropical storms, and at least 18 major flooding events. But who's really counting? Throughout Harris County, we're still working to rebuild after the devastating effects of Hurricane Harvey. Of course, just when we thought we had seen it all, 2020's global pandemic threatened us again. But through this devastation, we've watched and we've walked alongside as our communities came together in new and surprising ways. We've survived again together. In 2020, when nothing, from our health to the effects of the pandemic on our lives and families, was certain, Cy-Fair FCU was poised and ready to lend a hand to our members, some of whom simply needed a little relief to get to the next month. Others needed to concentrate on their family, not their mortgage. Some needed to rethink their loans, and no one really needed extra fees. Some of the measures that the credit union took to help Cy-Fair FCU members this past year include relief loans, say that slowly. Low interest loans meant to ensure members impacted by the pandemic didn't have to choose between paying bills and keeping food on the table. Our relief loans were life-saving for members during job furloughs or long stretches of unemployment. In 2020, Cy-Fair FCU loaned $64 million to over 4,000 members. Easy terms help members get through a difficult year. Members have always had the option of skipping up to 2 payments in any 12-month period. During the pandemic, we made it even easier for people to take advantage of this program by waiving the processing fees, and 30% more of our members requested skip requests than the prior year. Then there's our debt transfer to day and night cards at 0% interest for 12 months. In 2020, our popular day and night credit cards gave members a unique way to save money. Members could transfer debt to their CFFCU card with absolutely no interest for up to a year. While interest payments normally fund operating costs at Cy-Fair FCU, during this difficult time, we knew our members needed to keep more of their hard-earned money. We can talk about auto loan refi discounts. We helped members get a financial break in 2020 by refinancing over $9 million in auto loans and saving our members thousands of dollars. ATM fees. During parts of 2020, Cy-Fair FCU waived ATM fees to use non-Cy-Fair FCU ATMs. We know it's just a small thing, but it's one more way we were able to serve our members through a difficult time. Payroll Protection Program loans through the Small Business Administration. Cy-Fair FCU is here to support our small businesses because they enrich our communities and offer unique services that you just can't get anyplace else. Our local mom and pop shops give our community a distinct advantage identity. During the pandemic, 100 businesses throughout Harris and Waller counties received over $2 million in funded loans through CFFCU to help them weather forced business closures and keep paying their employees. It's our way of investing in and making sure our members thrive. Helping our members now and always. As our community navigates through the rough economic conditions of the pandemic and the oil and gas downturn, your board and the executive leadership team continues to look for ways to help our members navigate these troubling times. Let's turn to talk about our 3 construction projects. Starting in 2018 with the credit union's project to relocate our Stone Creek branch to Copperfield, Cy-Fair FCU embarked on a multi-year facilities transformation plan that continued through 2019 and into 2020. When the COVID-19 virus first began to make international headlines and then domestic headlines in early 2020, we were just months away from completing the final legs of these projects, including a brand new service location, a remodeled branch, and a new face for our corporate campus on Jones Road. But when it comes to serving members, Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union won't let anything stop us, not even a global pandemic. We made the decision to continue and complete the construction of these projects while following all of the appropriate safety protocols. So let's look at the Town Lake Financial Center. Our new financial center at 9915 Barker Cypress Road brings our full menu of financial services to the boardwalk at Town Lake. This is our first new service location since opening our Skinner Road branch in 2008, and the Town Lake Financial Center is an exciting addition to a vibrant area in the community, full of restaurants, shops, and essential services for CFFCU families. Full of modern, sustainable design and technology, our Town Lake location was designed with members in mind. The financial center features a tech bar with wireless charging stations and high-speed Wi-Fi. Comfortable seating with a large video wall provides a great spot to relax and enjoy complimentary refreshments. Private conversation areas allow our financial consultants to review personalized solutions. Innovative ITMs in the lobby include sizable video screens that connect members via video chat with a local credit union associate, providing face-to-face teller service and extended service at our drive-thrus. Of course, in-person team members are always on hand in the lobby to answer questions, familiarize members, and assist them with all of their financial needs. The Jones Road Financial Center. In August, Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union completed the renovations of our anchor financial center at 9601 Jones Road. While the completion of the project seemed a monumental task during the pandemic, the importance of renovating extends beyond the front door. The reinvestment will sustain and lift the entire Jones Road area, adding value to the adjacent properties, businesses, and community for decades to come. The new 2.5-story tower entrances create instant visibility and brand identity. The new interior supports a fresh 21st century banking model, a consultative approach that combines the best in personal service and technology. And of course, our corporate office on Jones Road. Since the early 1990s, Cy-Fair has called 9601 Jones Road home to the credit union's back office and administrative headquarters. The 60,000 square foot building was purchased under the leadership of the credit union's first president, Mrs. Pat Wilburn, and the volunteer board of directors at that time. Throughout the years, it has proven to be a great investment in the growth of Cy-Fair FCU, and many areas have been reimagined and remodeled as new space emerges. In addition to the credit union, our corporate campus is also home to 12 area businesses that lease office space in the building. The remodel completed in 2020 added a crisp, contemporary covered entrance to Cy-Fair FCU's Plaza building, moved the Jones Financial Center to a more prominent location, and remove bushes, tree branches, and vegetation that block visibility from Jones Road. Inside, the remodeled interior spaces have streamlined our accounting, marketing, business development, information services, and card services departments with open concept workspaces that can be reinvented for years to come and building collaboration spaces. The changes will also accommodate up to 20 additional employees with the same amount of space as the credit union grows in the future. When we started these projects in 2018, the global pandemic was the farthest thing from our minds. While we are certain that these investments were and are the right things to do in terms of lowering costs while upping our game in terms of delivering premier customer service, we were frustrated throughout the year that we weren't able to fully open the new financial centers and welcome our members as we normally would. Today, while we're still working to control the number of people in our financial centers at one time, they are fully open. If you want to stop by for assistance with a loan, for help with your account, or any other matter, we look forward to working with you in any of our remodeled locations. I think you will be pleased and impressed with what you see. Let's talk a little more about how our credit union serves our diverse community of members. The board of directors and leadership of Cy-Fair FCU believe that inclusion of all of our members in a diverse community must remain a priority. In 2019, we received the Juntos Avamazos designation for our commitment to the Hispanic community, but we were only getting started. On June 26, 2020, we launched a fully translated website in Spanish. Cy-Fair FCU in Espanol allows our Spanish-speaking members full access to our products and services in their primary language. We also participated in several Hispanic community events. In June, we co-sponsored a seminar with Texas and Espanol entitled How to Go Forward After a Financial Crisis. In September, we celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month with a virtual seminar about how to build financial success. In October, we partnered with Hispanic Star Houston to fill and distribute personal hygiene packs to low-income Hispanic neighborhoods. In 2020, we developed and presented semi-monthly financial wellness webinars in Spanish, which covered topics from financially successful businesses, mortgage and home equity loans, eliminating debt, and creating credit. These seminars featured local business leaders and Cy-Fair FCU experts. Lastly, the credit union expanded its popular day and night credit card program with its new Global Good credit card. At CFFCU, we stand for everyone who wants a better life and access to affordable financial services. In July, we announced the launch of the Global Good in partnership with the World Council of Credit Unions. The program helps provide sustainable support for financial inclusion projects in developing countries worldwide. For every transaction over $5, a portion of the transaction proceeds is donated to the World Council of Credit Union projects in Latin America, Kenya, the Philippines, Venezuela, Senegal, the Pacific Islands, and Cuba, to name a few. In closing, 2020 was a lemon of a year. But through it all, we never lost sight of our commitment to our members. Even though this past year challenged us in ways we never imagined, I'm so proud of the efforts our members have taken to help each other. At Cy-Fair FCU, we have strived to embody the same spirit of support and readiness to help. Please know that we are here to assist with financial support, an empathetic ear, and a glass of lemonade following Year of Lemons. Thank you. I would now like to ask Mr. Gary Kinninger, Chairman of the Supervisory Committee, to deliver the Supervisory Committee report.
Thank you, Chuck. Good evening. As mentioned in Mr. Dickey's introductions, the Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union Supervisor Committee was comprised of 4 volunteer members over the past year. The role of the Credit Union Supervisor Committee is to work with the Board of Directors and Executive Leadership Team to ensure that the credit union adheres to regulations and policies established to safeguard members' assets. The Supervisor Committee oversees internal and external audit activities. For 2020, the independent external audits were conducted by the firm Nearman, Maynard & Velez, a certified public accounting and consulting firm. The National Credit Union Administration, NCUA, conducts our regulatory examinations. Based on the findings of our internal audits, external audits, reports from our contracted auditors, and examinations by federal regulators, the Supervisory Committee concludes that the posted financials for Cy-Fair FCU are fairly presented and comply with applicable regulations. On behalf of the entire Supervisor Committee, we appreciate the opportunity to represent your interest. This concludes my report. I would now like to introduce Dr. Debbie Emery, who will give the nominating committee report. Dr. Emery could not be with us this evening, and so her report has been pre-recorded. Dr. Emery.
Good evening. This year, 4 positions on the Board of Directors are up for election. As required in our bylaws, the chairman of the Board of Directors appointed a nominating committee to evaluate and nominate candidates for these positions, and I chaired the committee. Cy-Fair's Board of Directors are comprised of 9 volunteer directors elected from the credit union's membership. Board members are elected for 3-year terms, and their terms are staggered to ensure continuity of oversight and governance. When a board member leaves before completing their term, a replacement candidate is appointed by the board chairman to serve until the next annual meeting, where they must stand for election by the members. If elected, the candidate will complete the years remaining on the original 3-year term. The nominating committee received nomination applications from 2 of the credit union's board members whose current terms are expiring and who expressed interest in continuing to serve the membership. Those members are Erwan Wilson and Chuck Brandon. The committee also reviewed and considered the nomination application from a current board member who was appointed by the chairman to fill an open position during the past year. As an appointed member of the board, they are required to stand for election at the next available annual meeting to continue serving on the board. That member is Dina Morgan, and she expressed interest in standing for election to the board. The committee also considered candidates who are presently serving on the Supervisory Committee. Mr. John Price has served on this committee since 2017 and expressed interest in serving on the credit union's board of directors. 2 months before the nomination deadline, the committee posted a request for additional applications from the credit union's membership on our website and the credit union's Facebook page. No additional applications were received. So after considering the openings and qualifications of all the prospective nominees, I am happy to report that the committee nominated the following members to the board of directors: Mr. Chuck Brandon for a 3-year term, Mrs. Erwan Wilson for a 3-year term, Ms. Dina Morgan to the remaining 2 years of her current term, and Mr. John Price to a 3-year term. As directed in our bylaws, notice of these nominations was mailed to Cy-Fair Credit Union members during the first week of January, along with information describing how they could nominate additional candidates by a petition signed by 1% of the credit union's members. The February 12th deadline for nominations by petition passed without additional nominations. In accordance with our bylaws, when only 1 member is nominated for each position to be filled, the nominees from the nominating committee shall be deemed elected by general consent or acclamation to the position and for the term that was designated when originally making their nomination. Please join me in congratulating Chuck, Erwan, Dina, and John on their election to the credit union's board of directors. This concludes the nominating committee report. Thank you, and I would now like to give the floor back to Mr. Dickey.
Let's give a round of applause to our 4 new board members returning. I want to thank Dr. Emery for chairing the nominating committee this year and our committee members. And I again want to congratulate Chuck, Erwan, Dina, and John. A lot of time goes into the various meetings, attending trainings, various meetings and presentations by outside examiners and auditors, not to mention representing the credit union at dozens of community events each year. For all of these members who volunteer on our board and committees, thank you. With the election of our board members from this year's ballot now completed, we want to take a few minutes to thank a couple of our board members that have finished their service with Cy-Fair FCU. Dr. Audrey Levy joined the board of Cy-Fair FCU in 2016 and filled the vacancy left by the retirement of Miss Debbie Jackson. And I believe Miss Levy is joining us via our Zoom meeting tonight.
I am. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Miss Levy. We miss you.
Well, and I miss you guys too. I see a lot's going on.
I'm going to say a few more nice things about you, but I wanted to make sure that you could hear me and I could hear you. As the former president of Lone Star College Cy-Fair, Dr. Levy brought prior governance and senior executive experience to her role on the board. Additionally, having led and overseen facility expansion projects at Lone Star College Cy-Fair, she was a valued contributor to the credit union's modernization and remodeling projects, which kicked off in 2018. In 2020, Dr. Levy rudely relocated out of Texas, abandoning us, and we had to say goodbye. So Audrey, on behalf of Cy-Fair FCU, I have a little token of appreciation that I'm going to hold up to the screen for you.
Okay.
Ms. Levy, this is just a small token of our appreciation. We wanted to say thank you. We will be putting it in the mail in the next day or so. We wanted to have it here available to show on screen to you, but we can't thank you so much, thank you enough, and thank you so much for the work that you contributed to our board of directors. And you have a standing invitation for lunch if your life finds you back in Houston, even on a short period of time.
Well, thank you. And I want all of you to get in a car and come and visit me in North Carolina. You can bring me the plaque.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Have you made that drive? Can you give us an estimate about how much time we would be taking to do that?
I think it's about 10 hours.
That's an investment, but
just imagine the fun all of you could have.
Definitely worth the investment. Thank you, Ms. Levy.
Thank you.
That brings us to Mr. Tony Barcelona. Tony joined the board of directors of Cy-Fair FCU in 2003. That's right, Mr. Barcelona has served on the credit union's board of directors, voluntarily representing members for 18 years. According to the notes I have, Mr. Barcelona joined the board to fill the vacancy left by Ms. Nita Beard when she came off the board. Tony joined the board of directors during his tenure with CFISD, where he served as the Assistant Superintendent of School Services and has continued serving the credit union during his retirement. Tony has brought so much to the governance of the credit union, both in terms of skills and experience, but also a tremendous sense of compassion and humility. In board meetings, Tony listens quietly as the various reports are being made, makes short notes on things he wants to clarify or point out, and always contributes something important to the decision before it's made. Tony, your tenure on our board spans 18 years, and I've only been here with the credit union for 8.5. So it seemed only fitting that I invite someone that you know well, Ms. Debbie Blackshear, the retired president of Cy-Fair FCU, to say a few words about your retirement from our board of directors. Debbie.
Good evening. It sure feels good to be back home here in the credit union. You know, it was my pleasure to work with Tony on the board from 2003 until my retirement at the end of 2012. And I had known Tony for many years, both as a member of the credit union and as the assistant principal of my sons at Cy-Fair High School. So I was happy when he was elected to the board to have the opportunity to work with him and in a different capacity as a board member. Tony, I've been struggling to recall all the highlights of our time together And my recall button struggled to go back that far, 18 years. Sitting here, I was thinking, I think back in 2003, neither Tony nor I had any gray hair. But what an amazing service you have given to this credit union. When I was thinking about what I could remember, there were several that stuck out in my memory. And one is the decision to purchase the Skinner Road property and the subsequent construction. When we decided, the board and management, that Skinner Road was the ideal site for our next branch, which would have been our third branch at the time. We thought 3-school complex right there on Skinner Road. So much of the construction, the new home construction was going on out that way. And so we began the negotiation process. And I think we started in about 2006. And I believe our first offer was, because the owner of the property had no intention of selling it, but we wanted it. So we started out at, I think, around 600,000. And this went for months negotiating. And so we kept creeping up. And finally, we said, okay, 1 million, at our board meeting, 1 million is our top offer. They accepted 990,000. You remember that, Tony? But you served on the building committee. You and I relied so much on your expertise and that of Harold Rowe and Jerry Roberts. And we all worked together with the architects and subsequently the construction firm. And it was a true labor of love. And what a great experience and what a beautiful branch we have today. And I know Mr. Kenninger really likes the Skinner Road branch across from his high school. We built that just for you, Gary. But I was thinking of another, thinking about 2008, and I know, Cameron, y'all have had challenges this past year, and I can't tell you how many times I thought, thank God I'm retired. But back in 2008, we thought we had some big challenges too, which now in retrospect were minor. But we went through Hurricane Ike. And we were so nervous preparing for that new branch that had just opened in June. But we came through that really well. I think the hurricane hit on Saturday, and we just were blessed. We had electricity on Sunday, and we opened Monday morning as if nothing had happened. And then maybe it was about a month or so later, I don't remember the exact timing, but we had the Enron crisis. And the financial services industry just became such a nightmare and challenge. And one thing I'll always remember, Tony, is how you and the board of directors supported our mission as we navigated those unprecedented and challenging times in our industry. During your tenure, the credit union has experienced tremendous growth in members and assets and in loans. And Tony, I thank you so much for your dedication and service. And I so appreciate the time that I was president and you served on our board of directors. And we had a lot of fun and we had a lot of good memories together. And I just wish you well as you retire from the credit union board.
Mr. Barcelona, Tony, my friend, one of my 9 bosses, it has been a pleasure working with you. And you've set the bar high for our organization, high for us as leaders, high for the other board members. So I just want to say thank you for all you've done. I'm going to give that to you, and I'm going to get out of the way and see if you want to say anything. I know. I'm putting you on the spot.
Thank all of y'all for the opportunity that I've been given the last 18 years, working with Debbie and working with Cameron, working with I still call it the administrative team. and all the members of the credit union. Y'all have been such great friends over the years, and we've been through a lot of challenges. We've been able to handle those challenges. We've worked through them. We've discussed and rediscussed and talked and just finally came to a conclusion that what was best for the members. And that's how we would handle each and every situation. But on behalf of myself, my family, thank y'all again for this great opportunity. It's been great. I'm not leaving the community. I'm still here. And hopefully I'll see y'all real soon too. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, David.
As we start the final portions of our agenda this evening, please remember if you have any questions during the business section, you can type your question in the meeting chat window, or if you would like to speak, use the raise hand option in the virtual meeting and we will unmute you so your audio can be heard. Certainly, if you're present here, please just raise your hand. At this time, is there any old business to come before this meeting? And I'm going to take a larger pause than usual because some of our participants may not yet be familiar with the Zoom controls. Okay, is there any new business to come before this meeting? At this time, I'd like to ask my team who are administering our virtual meeting, have any questions been posted or any hands raised requesting to speak? It appears the answer is no. Okay. Seeing none, we will proceed to a few closing remarks. Whether you attended in person this evening or watched online, I want to thank you for participating with Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union's Look Back at the Results of 2020. A copy of our full 2020 annual report is available on our website at cyfairfcu.org/meetings. It has a lot of great information about what the credit union accomplished this past year and a little of what we're working on in 2021. As a member-owned financial cooperative, your involvement in our annual meeting, in electing members to represent you on the credit union's board of directors, and for the accounts and business that you entrust to us, they are greatly appreciated. We know you have many choices and we strive to earn your business every day. Please stay safe and well, and let us know if there's anything we can do to help you and your family. With no further business to come before the group, we are adjourned by acclamation. Have a good evening.